Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming on to do a tutorial for you for my Purple Passion, for the Purple Passion collab that I'm in each month. My first project I did was this album. It's a trifold mini album, 6.5 inches square with 3 signatures. And several people asked for a tutorial on this, so I thought I would do that. So I'm going to show you how I made this. This video might end up being in multiple parts just because I don't want it to be too long. To start with, you need chipboard, 2 pieces that are 6.5 inch square, one that's 6.5 by 6 3/8, one that's 6.5 by 1, and one that's 6.5 by 7/8, and that's going to be the cover of the album. And then the cardstock to cover the outside of the album is 2 that are 8.5 by 8 1/4, and one that's 8.5 by 8. That's where we're going to start. So I'll tell you the reason. So if I lay these out, a trifold album is different. The part that goes inside, this piece right here, needs to be a little bit shorter, so I only made it 1/8 of an inch shorter. That's why one of these is shorter. So I need to make sure I have these all going the right way. Okay, so these are going to go lay out like this. I'm afraid I'm going to be bumping the camera because it's not all going to fit. And this one's going to go here, and this one's going to go here. And I have this frame right here. I can't, it's hard for me to go past it. So normally I would use just 2 pieces of cardstock for the outside, and I would have my seam on the spine. But because there's 2 spines, 2 pieces of cardstock won't cover the whole thing, I don't think. And I really want my seams to be at the spine. I don't want a seam in the middle of any piece of the cover, so I'm doing 3 different pieces. So I'm going to start by attaching these first 2. These are 8.5 by 8 1/4, and I'm going to use score tape or tear-in tape or whatever kind of double-sided tape you want to use that has a really strong hold. I'm going to put it on both edges. Don't know why I turned it over, because the sides are going to be wrapped in, so it doesn't really matter. Like when you cut it, you get that little lip, but that does not really matter because they're going to be wrapped in and covered up. So actually this is in my way, so you're going to see my ugly work surface here. I don't work well with a piece of paper down unless I'm stamping, and my glass mats are very shiny, so I don't feel like they work great either. So the first thing I'm going to do is put these 2 pieces together. I'm going to line them up. And I apologize if I get out of frame at all because I can't see my camera. Okay, so I think, yeah, as long as I don't go below this dot, I'm okay, it looks like. So there's that part, and then I'm going to lay down so then the next thing I do is figure out where is the other side of this seam right here. I want to know where it is, so I'm using my bone folder to find that seam and make it show. I'm not doing a very good job of that. So it's like right here. So I want to know where the seam is on the bottom, which is going to be the outside. So if I put this down, I'll put this down first, and I want this to be I want it to be centered as much as possible, I think. So yes, I'm going to put this down first, and the chipboard, when I put it down, I use liquid glue, and I use reptile glue almost always for my liquid glue needs. And then this piece will go here, and this piece will go here. It makes me not pause. Well, we'll see. So I'm going to see where my spine piece needs to be over here. Yeah, it's the same way. So I'll do this. And you guys have watched me do these albums before. This is just the first time that I've done a trifold album for you. So the basics of putting the album together are the same. And this time I want this piece to be on the bottom. I want this on top. And the reason for that is that on here I want to do the opposite of what I did. This one, it's pointing that way. I really want it to point towards the bottom of the book and not towards the top. I'll take this off. Oh, but I didn't put my tape on right for that to happen, did I? Did not put my tape on right for that to happen. I can go like this. Yeah, I see I did that backwards. It's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things that I have tape there. I need to remember to keep my glue closed, otherwise that little spot will clog up. And that was very smart. Don't leave something with tape on it hanging out like that. Okay, so I want this to go, be easier to turn this way for the moment. Sorry I bumped the camera. I want this to go like this. And then, oops, I'm going to keep it turned while I do the same thing as far as figuring out where it's at. I think it's right there. Yeah, it's pretty much right there. So I'll turn this back around. And first I'm going to put this piece on over here. And I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch. If you put it close together, to put it too close together, your cardstock will tear when you bend it, and we don't want that to happen. I'll put this one on too. And then I want this one on here. And that's gonna, looks like it's gonna be pretty good the way that, see where that's lined up? I can take this off again and let it work for me. Don't let it stick down yet, which is what it wants to do when it feels the tape under there. There. Okay. Oh, I have a new tool I haven't used. Thanks to Rosa Kelly, I had to go buy myself one of these. And I just happened to get it at a time when Joann's had all their tools. Some ridiculous amount off. Well, not ridiculous. Some awesome amount on sale. Oops. Forgot I had that tape on there. Okay. Now I can add my last piece. That's going to go that way. Be sure and put that on there the right way or the whole thing is going to be messed up. That goes like that. Cover you up. Turn you over. It's the first time I've used this tool. I absolutely love it. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is, yeah, this is, my frame is in the way, but it is what it is. It's an awesome frame that my husband made me for holding my phone for filming videos. It's made out of PVC pipe. Maybe on my next floss tube video where I'm filming my face with my computer, I'll show you what this looks like. I told him what I wanted. He built it in like 15 minutes. He already had all the supplies even. And it's not perfect, but it didn't cost me $80 or $100 or whatever the Acron or Archon, whatever it's called, costs, which might be easier to have, and I might get one someday, but for right now, this has served the purpose for me for I want to say 3 years now. Okay, now this is the tricky part because the camera's in the way. I need to bend this to get the cardstock started bending. This part, if you have lighter weight cardstock, is much easier. I don't. What I have is Stampin' Up, which I'm pretty sure the colored is 110 pound. Sometimes I'll do these in black because what I have for black is from Joann's. I have 65 pound black cardstock and it works really nice for this. It's much less work than you see me doing here to try to get this all ready. And the reason to do all this is so your cardstock is happy when you go to bend it around the chipboard. You don't want it to crack. Okay, and the next step before I stick them down is to cut off my corners. And I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch right there. If you've seen my prior videos, you know that I do that, and you'll see why I do it in a second. I don't want my card my chipboard to show when my book is done. You don't want chipboard sticking out of the corners. Okay, so this is bumping the camera, the stand a little bit, so I apologize if there's wiggling. Can go like this. It still might be wiggling. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I know I bumped it that time. I'm really sorry. Okay, and then the ends. Oh, before I do the ends, I want to push this down. I have that little extra bit in there. And you can see what I just did is pushed it down. There is the beginning of our cover. The next piece that I have is the spine, and it's 6 by 6 1/4. And I don't know if you can see, you will be able to in just a second, how it's scored. The way that I decide how to do my spine is, where's my pencil? I decide how many signatures I want. Where's my pencil? So I start by making, these are my signatures. I make a upside down V. Those are the pieces that are going to stick up. They're going to be glued together so they'll be flat. And I make mine a 1/2 inch, so I know each of these is 1 inch. And then I decide how much space I want in between. In this instance, I did a 1/4 inch in between. So I know that's a 1/4, and that's a 1/4. And then between the back cover and the front cover, I also want a 1/4 and a 1/4. And then I have a piece, usually 1 inch, that's sticking out. So it holds everything down. So when I add all these up, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 4 quarters, so 6 inches. That's how I arrived at 6 inches. And so my first score is at 1 inch, because I want that 1 inch there. Then 1 1/4. This is 1/2 inch, so 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3 1/4. That's not right. Here's a little tiny version. So it's 1, 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, 4 3/4, and 5. And it's hard to see on here, and that's way too much information for you, I'm sure. It's hard to see the score marks on here. But let me do this part, and that will show it to you. So the first thing I'm doing is folding this way my 3 signatures. And then all the other lines are going to fold the opposite way. So if you can see, make these go this way. When this is all put together, these are going to stick together. This one, and this one. And then there's a 1/4 inch in between each of them. So the next thing I'm going to do, here again is one of the last places I'm going to use my score tape, my scrapbook.com tape. It's not score tape. So I'm putting it on either side in this, the 1/2 inch V. I'm putting it in either one side or the other. You could use 1/2 inch tape if you wanted. I like using 1/4 inch tape. And burnish, 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 because we don't want this to come apart. And there is our spine. And I'm going to do this a few times. So these pages are going to want to turn nicely. Excuse me while I get a drink. So there's my spine. We went from 6 inches to 3 inches. We cut it in half. Now to put it in the book, it's going to go here in between the front cover and the back cover. I want to see where this is, so I'm going to put these creases in here. And I'm going to fold this up. So I didn't tell you, this cardstock is basic gray, and the paper collection that I'm using, this is from Home Shopping Network. It's called Knitwit Collections Bloom with Grace. And I just happened to see a video. I happened to log in when they had a video going, and I saw this, and the paper is so pretty. And you're going to see it as it's double-sided paper. It's thick weight paper. I'm thinking it's heavy enough that it might crack if you wrapped it around. Maybe not. I probably could have used some of this for the cover. I always forget to do that. It might have worked to wrap it around, but I decided to go with gray and black for my accents. And then in addition to this, so this paper has 36 double-sided sheets. But wait, there's more. It also came with this as part of the collection, and it's called a die-cut topper pad. And this is, the whole thing is die cuts. There's alphabets. It's all the same. And then there's smaller alphabets, and there's these button die cuts. I think this one has 4 of everything. There's numbers. And there's borders, and these, I don't know if you can see these little flags. I can't tell, oops, sorry. Can't tell what you can see. My scissors got in the way. There are these long borders. Sorry, trying not to shake the camera. There's all these different shapes. And then there's these guys, and these are glossy and very pretty. And butterflies. This was what got me, was when they got to these butterflies. Aren't these beautiful? And swans and more butterflies. I think that's the end. Yep, that's the last page. So I thought this was, again, they had me at butterflies. I would have liked it better if it had purple involved. But I can't have everything I want, so no purple, but it is beautiful. So this is going to go on here, and I'm going to center it top to bottom. And I'm going to get my little crease here in the crease here. I'm going to put this on with liquid glue. These flaps are going to be covered up, and they're going to help to hold the spine in place, because they're going to be glued down, but then they're going to have a couple layers glued on top of them. So I'm going to put this on here. I want to center it top to bottom. Hopefully that's good. And then make sure this is, that this glue is all sticking it down. And I don't want to fold these up, these pages, the cover up, until this glue dries, because if I do, I'm going to get buckling here and possibly in between the pages. Okay, and then I have, what do I have next? Inside cover, 6 1/4 by 7. Let me see what papers those are. That's this. Okay, so there's 2 that are 6 1/4 by 7, and there is 1 that's 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. I'm going to see if they all fit before I stick anything down. I'm thinking this one must go right here, if I remember right, since I did that album a couple weeks ago. This is going to go here, and these are going to overlap. So do I want my overlap to be on the top or the bottom? Did it on the top. Okay. So I put this one down first. Well, this one's okay to put on. I can go ahead and put this one on. I know this is the right size. And this one's a square, so I'm good putting it on however I want to. This is Mary Merlot by Stampin' Up. When I get into the paper choices that I did, there was some opportunity to include some beautiful pink cardstocks, but Stampin' Up really sucks when it comes to pink, and there is nothing that matched this paper. So this is kind of pushing it, this Mary Merlot. But I think it'll do what I want it to do. my doodad. My neighbors are across the street are having a garage sale today. We live on a very narrow street, a tiny little cul-de-sac. It's only 2 blocks long, so there's been a lot of traffic. And this one I'm going to put on here. Yep, okay. I've been afraid my dog was going to go ballistic because he does not like when people walk towards our house. There's lots of cars parking in front of our house. And he's ignoring them, so that's a good thing. When Amazon shows up, he really goes ballistic. Amazon or UPS. There's that. And then this one is going to go on here, and it is going to overlap this way. That was weird. Okay, this way, right? Okay, there's my cover. So we're doing good so far. I need to let this dry for a little bit before I go any farther. So you won't be able to tell because as far as you see, I'll be right back, but I'm going to pause the video and do some other stuff while I wait for this to dry for a little while. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully it's been long enough. I went and did another thing while I waited. And I'm only going to do a little bit more in this video, and then I'm going to finish the book part in a second video. And I'll decorate it and come back in a third video. So, I have my creases here. And I'm pushing down with my bone folder, as I lift that up. And that helps it to deepen the crease and not make this part buckle, which sometimes no matter what you do, that part still buckles. Some days it just doesn't matter. And then I'm going to figure out where my creases are here. Is there one right there? Yep. So I have one right here. And then I must have one right there. So that lets my book go like that. There's the base of the book. Next I'm going to put in the pages. And that's where I'm going to stop for this video, and then I'll make a second video for the rest of the book. So the pages, you need 3 that are 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 and 3 that are 6 1/4 by 6 3/4, and then this is scored at 1/2 inch. I've already put the other 2 together. So I'm going to burnish this. These are going to be pocket pages, which is putting the pocket on the top. A lot of times making books like this, I'll do it so the pocket's on the side, but for this one I wanted them on the top. I know this is square, so I can set this like this, and then just have those 2 line up that way, have this line up this way, and then I have 3 pages. So the way I'm going to put these in is I want to put them, I don't want to put them all the way down to the crease because then they won't be able to bend. I want to be like 1/8 of an inch up. I don't know if you can see that. You see that in here, that it's not all the way down to the crease, and these lay really flat. It's about 1/8 of an inch. It's not perfect, but it helps the, see how flat these pages lay. That's what I want, is for it to lay flat like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is put glue. Which way did I do those? Can't tell. If I can't tell, then I guess it doesn't matter, right? I'm going to put glue on here. And I'm not using my tape for this because I've had pages come out. Like, the tape nothing is as good as glue, because glue bonds paper to paper. Now, I need to get this so I can see what I'm doing, but you won't really be able to see it, which is a bummer. I'm putting this on, so it's about 1/8 of an inch. And because it's glue, I'm going to hold it there for a few seconds. I got way too much glue on one end. Way too much glue on one end. And then I'm going to put glue on the other side and along the bottom, because I don't want my pocket to go all the way through. Can you see that? How I got the glue on there? And then I'm going to close this. Another nice thing about it being glue is it gives time for wiggle room. Wiggle room is a good thing. Tape sticks and you don't have wiggle room, you have tear room if something happens and you need to lift it back up. But with glue, you have wiggle room. So there's my first page, pocket on the top. The rest is all laying down. This lays down nicely. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. want to be sure that they're lined up, that these guys are lined up, so my pages are all the same. And then I'm going to come over here, put glue on this side. And glue along the bottom. And then I'm going to stand this, it fell off. Stand this up, put this in here, make sure this is still my 1/8 of an inch, yes it is, and close this pocket. And then the last one. Put glue on. This side. This part doesn't really, I mean I could put it on either end because you can't tell once it's all stuck together which side, but I was just trying to make them uniform. Stick this on here. About 1/8 of an inch and making sure it's lined up with the page next to it. This one, since it's on the end, I can fold it flat. And then those do line up. That's good. And then open this. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. This album, because the first one I made, the paper was just so beautiful. I didn't do any fold outs or anything special. It just, the book is beautiful the way it is. It has a couple pockets, and it's pocket pages, but I didn't do any of the interactive stuff that I usually do. So, here is the base of the album. So I'm going to stop here because I think I'm already too long, and then I'm going to start again in part 2. So thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.